This is the Happymodel Mobula 8, and it is the largest size and the most powerful one in the Mobula family. It runs on 2S, and I have to say, I absolutely loved it. You have the option to get this in analog, HD0 Walksnail, or the DJI-03. And this particular one is the analog version. Besides the camera are bound to be different, obviously, the only difference of hardware between analog and HD will be the flight controller. The analog version, like this one, is going to have a X12 5-in-1 AIO with SPI-based ELRS receiver. The board is going to have a VTX built in, so no additional VTX will be required. You just need to plug in the camera and it will just work. On the other hand, the HD version will come with the crazy F405 4-in-1 AIO that has a serial-based ELRS receiver, which obviously the VTX has been removed since you will be adding an external digital VTX anyway. A side note of the difference between SPI-based ELRS receiver versus serial receivers are your binding to the radio methods will be different. So if you got the analog version with the SPI-based ELRS receiver, check this video to see how you can bind this. And if you have the HD version, check this one. Not the exact model, but it's the same board. Besides all these, the frame is going to be the 85mm frame, which I do think it's pretty strong. The camera is going to be a Cadex end and it's specially designed for this board. The biggest difference is the camera will come with a cable attached to the FPV camera like this, versus the regular Cadex end on the markets which we can buy will have a port instead like that. So if you ever broke the camera, you will need to build yourself an analog cable like this, which, spoiler alert, both sides of the plugs are different. Your best and cost-efficient bet is to purchase this kit from RDQ. That comes with a mix of cables and plugs. Next, the motors are going to be the Happymodel EX1103 11,000 kV motors with the plug-and-play style cable. And the props are going to be the Janfan Hurricane 2023 2-inch props. I don't know why this is a thing, but it's 2023 2-inch props. The battery it takes are generally going to be the RDQ family 2S like this one, and the dimension is going to be right on the screen. The length doesn't matter, but more for the width and height. I will later probably use a battery strap and cut the bottom of the battery tray to create more clearance to free up additional size of LiPo. On a side note, since the Mob 8 has the same components as a Happymodel baseline, you will have the option to convert it over if you are seeking for more performance, because when it's ducted, your performance is less, and when it's not ducted, your performance increase. You just need to get yourself a baseline frame, which I will just leave the link at below. If you'd like to see the step-by-step conversion process, this video is going to be right here. Okay, so let's take this out. Actually, this one. Let's take this one out and let's give it a spin. Let's first start with some outdoor flights. I'm currently using my DJI goggles version 2 with the TBS Fusion module to record this video. The Cadex end is truly no doubt one of the budget king cameras for analog players, and the footage is just so clear and beautiful even for analogs. This certainly is a significant upgrade from my Mobula 7 Nano 3. As for the power wise, to me, and I think we can all agree, is that the performance of 2S is going to be far more superior than 1S. And when you get a lot more power, outdoor is always the best place to test it out and to reveal its true potential. If you are a pilot that is coming from 1S to 2S, you are going to immediately feel the power difference. And the difference will be most obviously noticed when you are freestyling. After you punch up and kill the throttle, you are going to feel that there is a brief extended moment of floatiness created by the momentum, instead of just start dropping flat down. Also, and when it goes to 2S or above, the wind starts to affect your flights less and less, as there is more power in a heavier form factor. As usual, the default tuning of the Happymodel is generally good, and the Mobula 8 is no exception. I simply took it out the box, bind it, and it's just good. But do know the Happymodel tuning will always trigger a flyaway warning on beta flight at the pit tune tabs. In most of the cases, in the flights I did, the flyaway will not happen, but there was one time that when I was trying to recover myself from a power loop and applied too much throttle too late, causing some big vibration of some parts that triggered the FC to believe it is out of balance, and it just kept going up even with zero throttle, which eventually got me stuck in a tree. Looking back, For the cause, I believe the main reason is due to improperly secured components that generate the vibration. So make sure you tighten all components to avoid this. Next, as I was talking about getting the Mobula 8 stuck in the tree, we can talk about the durability. As I was unable to retrieve it for myself, the Mobula 8 got hanging in the tree for a good 2 months until the tree trimmer service showed up and eventually found it for me. Besides slight rust on the screws and the cracked frame, everything from the camera to the motor is still working just fine. And I'm pretty impressed. This is another good reason I love Happymodel products. Okay, I think we've seen enough outdoors. Let's switch to indoors a little bit. At indoors, the 2S might be a bit powerful if you're just starting as a beginner, but it definitely is flyable. You just have to adjust your camera to the lower angle. Yes, you can adjust your camera angle and it will fly nice and smooth. But if the goal is to fly indoors, 1S is still going to give you a much better result. At indoors, if you actually go with the 03 version, then the Mobula 8 is going to be a very nice entry-level cinewhoop and it will have good results. The smaller form factor and the noise level is going to be very easy to practice on, but if you do not have the funds for a 03, you can still upgrade the Mobula 8 to a 4K film machine. You can check out another tutorial as of how it can be done. Again, we have to talk about the Happymodel tuning, and I do think it's a very iconic experience as I have flown the Mobula family, and they just feel so similar on the sticks. They just have a nice-ish control feeling to them, and you get to comfortably fly through space, hoops, and gaps. By the way, the battery I'm currently using is a 400 mAh GNB 2S LiPo. But if you want to enhance the performance of freestyle, I like to go with the even smaller 300 mAh LiPos to save additional few grams. The flight time is going to be about, I would say, 2 minutes, 2 to 2.5 minutes on average. Anyway, let's just head back to the bench for some of my final thoughts. Okay, it is obviously and no doubt that the Mobula 8 is a very good flyer, and I certainly really enjoyed flying this one. It is very smooth, budget friendly, and it is a very versatile model that have some additional possibilities to modify its torus to, like the bassline or to create a 4K cinewhoops. Again, who should be getting a Mobula 8? Well, if you are a beginner and is mainly thinking to have something to practice indoor, this might be a little bit too powerful. I would say getting the Mobula 7 should be a better choice, as I still believe it is the king of whoops for hybrid indoor and outdoor. You can check out my reviews for it if interested. It's going to be right there as well. But if you have the extra funds to spend, then yes, I think the Mobula 8 is worth it to be invested on. By the way, in the 2S realm, if you are debating between the Mobula 8 or the Cetus X, get the Mobula 8. It simply flies so much better. All right, I hope this is helpful. And if you have additional questions or have a different opinion, why not just let me know at the comment section, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.